Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. First of all, before I start with a book review, can I just say how cute this hair bow is? It's got like little pom-poms and it's kind of plasticky, but it's so cute. It's from, I'm going to say it wrong, Little Bow Bips. Got the packaging, I've lost the other bit. Yeah, Little Bips Bows, sorry, on Etsy. Oh, they're also on Facebook as well if you want to check that out. So, yeah, I love it. Going to go back on young adult today, and this time I'm actually doing a contemporary. This is my first young adult contemporary, and it is Yes, No, Maybe So by Becki Albertalli and Aisha Saeed. I have this sticker on like all of my books, don't I? Yeah, I love Becki Albertalli, I'm not gonna lie. I think this bow really like works with her energy. But this is the second This is the second collaboration I've read of Becki Albertalli's. I've read the one that she did with Adam Silveri. I didn't love that one as much. Not because of the trajectory of the story. The characterization didn't jump out at me as much as, say, Simon from Simon versus the Homo Sapien Agenda, aka Love Simon. But this book, it was also my first time reading Aisha Saeed. And it's very relevant to what's going on in the world right now. It's quite a sweet love story. This is going to sound so weird. It's the first story I've read of Becki Albertalli's where she writes a straight character, but it works. So it has two main characters. I don't know if you can see that, Jamie and Maya. Jamie is a Jewish boy whose family is big in local politics, and his cousin is helping with a local by-election, I think it is. I'm not too sure about American government stuff when it comes to like local level politics. And Maya is an Indian, I think she's Indian. She's definitely Muslim. It doesn't really specify. It's just the impression I got from the pictures and the way she talks, and I'm sure there is something in here and I've completely forgotten. So yeah, Jamie's helping out anyway with the campaign stuff because he does want to go into local politics, whereas Maya is like, she's not doing anything. Ramadan's getting to her because her parents have split up for it, so it's like this is supposed to be like this big thing for our religion and you're just apart. And also her best friend is very busy, she doesn't really have much time to talk to her, she's feeling very alone, and then her mum volunteers her to go campaigning. So they end up door canvassing together. They're both 17, so they can't vote themselves, but they are doing their best to go door to door and persuade people to vote for their representative. I'm so gonna get the words wrong for all the different bits. This story actually really helped me learn a lot more about American politics. It's just that my brain is apparently a sieve with this stuff. So beyond like knowing about caucuses and stuff like that, I think it is, I don't know much that goes on below that kind of level, and I only know that because I read Hillary Clinton's book and Michelle Obama's book as well. At first they're old friends, they knew each other when they were children, but they haven't spoken to each other for years, and at first they're a bit standoffish with each other. You know, he's buried in his phone, he's quite socially anxious, she is quite forward, but she just doesn't want to be doing what she's doing. She's only doing it because her mum's making her, and what else is there, sitting in an empty house all day in the summer? No. So at first they're a little bit fractious with each other, but as time goes on they start to learn, you know, where their positives are with each other, but they also witness things that happen in their lives that I don't think would happen in most other people's lives. Like there's some anti-Semitic stuff that Jamie has to deal with, and Myra's privy to that. There's people who have read about my skin colour, so Jamie has to try and help her through that as well. So it's very topical. It's, you know, it's amazing to read to people who don't fit the social expectations of white male, white female norms, and actually have a beautiful book. Like, there is so much I learn in this story as well, and I love both Becki and Aisha's voices as Jamie and Maya. And there are some happy endings to it. There's a lot of working through situations. There's some negative aspects as well, like they're in Georgia, which is where I think Becki's definitely from. I think Aisha's from as well. My friend Casey lives there as well. I have an idea of what Georgia is like, and the things that happen in the story, they feel very true to the situation out there, like the young people versus the way society is, and you know, people's ambitions versus traditions, things like that. So it's a really complicated book, really, in terms of what it explores. It may be a young adult book, it may deal with the romance between Jamie and Maya as well, but it's friendship, it's politics, it's understanding, it's empathy, you know, it's human rights basically at the end of the day. And this is kind of why I read a lot of young adult contemporary. It's not because, you know, I think that sparkly vampires are cool, although, you know, I loved Midnight Sun. It's because they tackle all of these agendas that really light a fire in people's bellies, especially like the younger generations. And, you know, they're not complacent yet. So writing this sort of stuff and having this sort of stuff available, like it helps. It does help. And you know, there are some really adult themes that get explored, but they're told in a way that's relatable. And I think that's really important. Like, sometimes you get to adult books, and as much as I love them, they're kind of formulaic, and they sit in their pigeonholes, and you don't really get the chance to grapple with things like this as much, especially in like the genres I tend to read. But and also children's books as well, there's so much you have to put in there. So young adult is a really nice like fine line between the two, where you just get to embrace the characters, learn something, feel connected to something, but you're not disillusioned yet. And I will always sing the praises of young adult contemporary because of stuff like this. So yeah, it's definitely one of Becki Albertalli's better books, I think. Like, you know, when you're ranking things you really love, like God tier and stuff like that, I'd say this was a God tier Becki Albertalli. And I definitely want to read more Aisha Saeed. So yeah, this book has really done its job. And I totally recommend it, especially if you don't know much about American politics. It's a really good entry point. There are still some things you'd probably have to look up, and I think that's probably why I've like gone sieve brain with it, because it's so much information and some of the wording is very, like, if you live there you would know it very well, but if you don't you wouldn't. And I think that's true for like British politics as well. So don't think I'm being like, oh, Americans. I am very much like, this is why you need to do your research, because like things that you think make sense to people don't always. And, you know, books that help you learn are always good. So yeah, I totally recommend this one. Definitely, if it's your first Becki Albertalli, I'd read it. And yeah, definitely read Aisha Saeed as well. So I think that's it for today, because I'm losing my words and I'm losing my train of thought. So if you understood any of my ramble through any of that and liked it, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Say what books that have really inspired you. I'd really love to hear it, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.